Should your employers tell you what to write on LinkedIn and how to use your personal LinkedIn account? This is the topic for today. And it is a textbook case of infantilization of adults, which is the corporate kindergarten. And I'm kind of upset with myself that I did not think of it when I was reading this book. But what is the definition of infantilizing adults? Now, here it is. Let's start with that and then we dive into the topic. Simply put, infantilization aims to preserve or create childhood-like ignorance, incompetence, inexperience, dependence, and obedience by ignoring and breaching all sorts of boundaries to dominate and disrespect. And when I hear stories of companies telling employees what to do or what not to do on LinkedIn, two words really come to my mind: dominance and control, and both fit under infantilization theory. Hi, I'm Sylvia, an organizational psychologist, and today this is the topic. It's a massive topic and I don't even know where to start or where to end. So I have my list, bullet points, but let's see how we go with that, because this is massive and I will not make a very straightforward yes or no answer, because way too complex. And human beings are very complex. But I hope you can take something away from it. Once again, the corporate kindergarten thinks how the ways organization infantilize, basically treat others like children. And I think telling employees what they can write on LinkedIn, on social media, it comes under that, because it really is a textbook case of infantilization. Now, the first point I want to talk about is, how does it happen? Because I'm sure that you found yourself on a LinkedIn training by HR, or signing a clause in your contract, what you can do, how they are going to use your picture while you are at the company for their social media website. So there's a lot of policies and contracts that we sign, or clauses that we sign when we join a company. But where we start paying attention, because nobody reads these clauses and contracts, right? But when you start paying attention to these ones is when they ask you to put their LinkedIn, the company LinkedIn banner on your personal website LinkedIn account. When they ask you, can you please repost it, like it? I know a company that they send you via email the text that you need to post under the company's website when they make a post on LinkedIn. There are all sorts of weird situations. From follow, you have to follow certain people, you have to follow all of their websites and social media platforms, and all the way, so this is their platform. So benign. Do we see any harm? Not necessarily. Do I need to like everything that my company is posting? I don't think so. Okay, and we go along with it because, okay, it doesn't. I can like your post if you really want me to. Okay. Where the problem starts really is when employers tell you how to use your own account. What is it that you can post? What is it that you cannot post? That you need to, I heard stories that you need to take on a neutral position about certain topics. There are certain topics you cannot form any kind of opinion. So the question is about boundaries, right? And we're going to talk about that. But before we start, my first question is this. Is it a HR topic? Is HR putting themselves into something, inserting themselves into something that is nothing to do with them? Because if you look at the whole situation, it's a marketing area, right? And it's a legal area. Because if the contract or sometimes legal legislation of certain countries, areas, states, etc., comes into the picture or covers that, then it goes to legal. And it certainly goes to marketing. And here is my take on marketing. If you have a good marketing department, a fantastic, not a good one, a fantastic marketing department, you don't worry about employees' negative comments. You turn it around. And that's why we follow KHDA here in Dubai. That's why we follow Ryanair, cracking. That's why we follow even McDonald's, Google. Look at Google's posting or comments on TikTok. And I love it. So good companies don't worry about employees' comments. Now, before we go into the boundaries and should we or should we not ban and put a blanket ban on employees or actively discourage them. Now, my point is, and not my point, sorry, one of the business leaders made this point that there is no trackable long-term benefit or detriment to the company of banning or discouraging employees from the use of social media, LinkedIn in this case. So, you know what? I can post something today about something very negative about the company. Nobody ever going to remember. It's not going to ruin the company. It's only going to ruin me. Probably I will get fired. Now, is it going to last for the rest of my life? No, I'm going to go, delete it maybe, and I get hired by another company. So nobody has a long-term benefit or detriment out of anybody is posting anything on social media. That's the honest truth. Now, but let's go into the boundaries. So first of all, we need to decide, is it a marketing problem, is it a legal problem, or HR problem? Because I don't think it is a HR problem. I think HR needs to get the hell out of this topic because they have nothing to do with it, first of all. If you have a good marketing department, they will handle it. Now, it might happen that marketing will send something over to legal, right? Because if there is a breach in contract or that, we come to that, to discuss that. Then it might end up a disciplinary or firing process with HR, but that has nothing to do with HR initially. So I think it should remain with marketing. And marketing is very good at sorting these comments out, whether they remove it or keep it and turn it around, make a lovely story out of it. The guest, I'm a hotelier. The employee has complained about whatever, and I have seen a lot of these examples, I will tell you. And we have investigated the matter, sorted it out, and so on. Or you can just straight delete it when it's really, sometimes it's a vicious comment with no base and it's just pure hatred, right? We've seen it. Nothing is going to happen to anyone. Let's not take these social media posts too seriously because it hasn't changed. They haven't changed anybody's life so far, okay? Now, boundaries. Where do we draw the line between individual's opinion, private opinion, and personal branding, because that comes into the picture, and me representing my company? Because I think we need to separate these things, right? So one is, we need to set the boundaries of me representing my company with my opinion, or it is just my opinion and I'm building my personal brand, or then somebody is actively, directly or indirectly defame the company, hurting the reputation, or provide information that has a detrimental impact on the company, right? So there's a lot of aspect to it, and really this video is not going to justify the whole topic. It's a massive topic, and I don't even think I have enough information to decide. So if I was in HR, once again, it's not HR's job, but okay, if I was in HR, what I would do, I would call in marketing and legal. You guys decide what we need to do, what we can do. And I would just advise from the people point of view, right? Because that's really not me. It's marketing and legal knows this. And the HR has no idea about these topics, to be honest. So use the personal branding and my private opinion. Now that can be really quickly sorted by employers, if I can say it. It's very simple. Every employer could put on their LinkedIn account, whatever my employees are saying, they are not representing us, legally speaking. That's it. Rather than controlling people. And they do that with their sponsors. They do that with other organizations, with their partners. Whatever they do, it's not representing our view, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Because the point, the logic fails me, right? The logic of, if I work for you, I'm representing you. So do I represent and my own values and way of thinking my family, all of my friends? Because then we're all gonna stay alone. We're going to be fired by everybody because that's just not how it is. And how about your DEI agenda again? I debunk this bloody DEI agenda in every video. No, let's move on from it because that upsets me. So that's representation doesn't stand. Now, when employees are actively hurting the organization, directly or indirectly. So directly is me posting something about the organization and the organization can be identified. Me posting something about a person and the person can be identified. Now that's a very direct defamation, reputation, ruining someone's reputation or the company's reputation, or really providing information that is confidential, right? But that's a whole different matter. And we should not mix the two. People building their personal branding, employees, and just having fun and sharing information and knowledge and all that, with going against the company actively. Now that's the direct ruin of reputation. And there is also indirectly. So indirectly would be an example. Once again, it's a very complex matter because human beings are very creative with their behavior. And so for example, if I don't mention the name of the person, I don't mention the company name, but we were on a training session, I don't know. We were on a training session, 20 of us were there, and I say, today I was in a training session and this stupid leader or whatever, this was the topic, and then whatever you write. Now, that person can be identified by the other 19. So now we can identify the person, and then therefore we will be able to identify the company as well. So that's an indirect one. You did not disclose, but it can be identified. So that's also very dangerous because even here in Dubai, defamation or the UAE defamation law will protect them, right? So you need to be very, very careful with the legalities and the legislations around social media use. I know that in the States, in some of the states, employers can ask for your social media passwords. I never heard that, but I just read that online. No, maybe it's not true. I can only say what it is. Now, you know, I'm a European citizen. GDPR would never allow anybody to do that to me. And so on. So you need to look at all that and what kind of contract you sign with your company. Now, what is the solution here? Because there is a lot of problem already. So once again, separate the idea or the issues, right? The employees are building their own personal branding, or they are actively hurting the company directly or indirectly. So I think this is what we need to focus on, right? And the blanket ban or active discouragement of employees of using social media or LinkedIn for that matter is hurting everybody, including the organization. And here is how. Employees, if you restrict employees' activities on LinkedIn, and I know some of the employees said, I'm going to close my LinkedIn account because I can't use it because of my employer. They live in fear that they can't even like a post about poor management, right? Because then their insecure manager is going to think, oh, I like this post because I'm a poor manager, and then they end up in HR. Can we stop this nonsense, okay? In this case, you're not dealing with the employee because the employee is free to like whatever he wants to like or she wants to like, but you deal with the insecure manager and tell the manager that, hey, your insecurities is not the problem of your employees, right? But I come back to it in a minute because that's a bigger topic. So employees, if they suspend their activity or they don't post or, just slow down or close their account, they will find it difficult to find new opportunities. So when they go back, recruiters will not see them because they haven't done anything. If they go quiet, they are still present, but they are not active. Once again, recruiters, others will not see them. So it's kind of negatively impacting the employee because opportunities will not come to them, right? Other employers and recruiters will not approach them. So that's not the greatest idea. Employers are missing out on great opportunities. And I have talked about it forever, but HR's inability to deal with human behavior result in blanket bans and discouragement. And in the meantime, they are losing out on the bigger prize. Now, if your employees love working with you, they are going to talk about your company. That's your employer branding. So employees, candidates don't want to see your polished marketing version of how good you are. They want to actually hear from your employees. That's why we have TripAdvisor. We don't want the hotel, we don't trust the restaurant and the hotel in how good they are. We want to hear from other guests and customers, right? So it's the same principle is applied in here. So allowing your employees to talk about your company or to showcase their talent, their intelligence, their input, their different way of thinking, their skills, their knowledge, it actually adds to your employee value proposition or branding, right? One more big opportunity that you guys are missing, companies, and you can't see past the threat. You are in defensive mode, you're never going to win this, right? Because all you can do is block, is literally, all you can do is being a poor parent who can't manage the behavior, so you're going to, I'm your mother, you are told as I said. Now that works rarely. Is that you can get so much information and identify lots of problems within your organization. And I have seen it millions of times. So when I have seen it even with my company, and I never support that. I always said that don't air the dirty laundry online. Because that I would never support. I always said, don't talk shit about your company online. It's never going to end well, and don't do it. So once I was having a debate with my HR director because I saw one post coming through LinkedIn from one of our employees in another property in another country. And it just went on, and she I can't remember, was complaining about bully manager, discrimination. It was a whole long story. And it was in F&B. So the VP of F&B of my company jumped into the thread and said, thank you so much. Send me a direct message. Let's get in touch with investigate and see what's going to happen. And then people started to come into this thread and tell their story about the same manager. And I think there was another leader involved. I can't remember now. It was like 4 years ago. And I showed it to my HR director and she goes like, this is unacceptable. She should be fired. I'm like, why? Why should that person be fired without even being investigated? And I told her, I'm like, look, I know because I looked into whistleblowing cases, and those are fascinating cases. Never once a whistleblower went straight to blow the whistle. Employees, even including this person, I don't know, probably, have repeatedly went to report to the manager, to the leader, to HR, to somebody in the organization, and they were ignored 3, 4, 5 times. So by the time, and this is where HR needs to come in with common sense, by the time someone ends up on social media, that's desperation. That person has already tried to tell you something millions of times and you fail to listen. So now, once again, we are not going to listen. We're going to punish that person. Why did you use social media? You're tarnishing my reputation. No. Yes and no. We're going to have that conversation with the employee, right? Lovely. That's not the best way of doing it. However, I understand because you already tried to tell us millions of times and nobody listened. And then you identify that actually we have a leadership problem in this workplace. This manager is a bully. This leader is sexually harassing the employees, because we have heard cases, millions like that, right? So you employers are missing out on information by banning communication. But at the same time you say, tell us everything. Well, these people reported it on your whistleblowing platform and you have done nothing. So now they're gonna go out to the world and tell. You asked for it. And now you wanna ban. Now guess what? If you can't ban people from telling what they actually want to tell, because when they leave, they're gonna put it out there. So it doesn't really matter. Don't ban the use of social media. Now, but what is it that, so couple of more. And so during employee experience design, one of the companies in Abu Dhabi, they said, we are going to put all our annual reviews, employee engagement survey online. And they use Glassdoor, and they said, onboarding, 3 months, online. Leave your review there. 6 months, leave your review there. Annual engagement, do it there. Exit interview, do it there. Don't be afraid, because companies are afraid. So they go to this dictatorial mode, and then employees are afraid. They can't even move on social media, because what if my crazy manager thinks I'm talking about him or her? Nobody is talking about you. You are not that interesting, okay? And if I was to talk about her, you as my line manager, leader, or HR, your job is to actually look into it. Is there something in there? That's how I see it. Now, if you are vicious and actively hurting the company, this is where legal comes into the picture, right? Don't do that. Now, and also, my question is for employers. If you hire people like that, who is going to obey and be obedient about it, are they the right people to hire? Are those the people who are creative, who can think, who can speak up, who are empowered, who are independent, who you know? Because none of those people will be. Then the quality of the work, so it's going to be compromised. You are hiring low-level quality people, because quality people will not put up with that. And also, if you ban me from talking here, you cannot expect me to talk in the boardroom or the meeting room or during brainstorming session, because now you sent me a threat signal. So my brain is already, okay, if I make a wrong step here, I'm out, I'm done. So I'm not going to contribute. I'm not going to say anything, because now I'm scared. It's so easy to scare people, especially on this current economic situation, right? Everybody is struggling to find a job. All you have to do is a LinkedIn training, and you shut people down. They are not going to contribute. And what you want is people who can think, who can challenge you, who can, change things, who is going to question you, and who has their own ideas. And there is nothing wrong with it. And they're putting it out on LinkedIn because they are networking and brainstorming. And just because I like a post about narcissistic bosses, because I'm fascinated by the topic of narcissism, I studied psychology, I look at everything within organizations, everything. And narcissistic bosses is one of my favorite topics. So I interact with those topics a lot online. Does that mean that my boss is narcissistic? What kind of a logic is that? So we need to deal with the bosses and whoever is insecure enough to take everything on themselves rather than the employee. I'm just interested in the topic. I'm not interested in this guy. HR, please make sense of it, okay? This is where your expertise should come into the picture. This is where you should be influencing the leaders and the managers and the board directors. Stop banning people. It's not North Korea, okay? And this defensive approach, how are you gonna win anything? And you already send 100 threat signals to your employees, and now you want them to be, forward thinking and outspoken and whatever you want, these big corporate words. Now you want. They're not gonna give you anything. No, but what is the solution? What is the solution of this long-winded nothing? I always supported the idea of talking to employees. Now you can put it in the contract. I have zero problem. I always had it in my contract. I don't find any issue with that. That do not tarnish the reputation of the company. And I will fully support that. I never agreed when employees did that, my colleagues did that. I always went, I'm like, I don't even want to be part of it because I disagree with it. This is your choice of communication, you do it, but it's not me. So I always support that. You can put it in your contract. Do not make, post whatever that directly impacts the reputation of your company. Why would you do that? You have a problem, come to us. But then when they come to us, we need to actually do something about it. And it comes down to directly or indirectly, right? So can the person or the company either be identified by your post or through your post, or it can be identified because it's direct. So I think this is where I would start straight away. I would look at, once again, the legal aspect of it and educate employees. Look, if you start posting shit about me, based on the law here, I can take you to court. People will understand that, rather than don't do it because you're going to go to jail. We don't need that. We don't need command and control and dominance. They are not children. People will understand. So I would look at the legal aspects of it, right? I would not be very quick to fire people based on that, because once again, you take a lot of information out of it. If you're smart, you can turn situations around, even bad ones, in terms of marketing, and to your advantage. And then that's also to the benefit of employees, because now you identified and sorted an issue, and just make the best of it. No, you don't necessarily need to fire. Now, when it's malicious, so the intent must count. So don't go by the policy. This is what you did, now we fire you. Intention. Good HR never does that. That's the bad HR that goes out after the policy and rules and regulations, because incompetent people needs rules and structure and policy and law. Competent people understand all those, and then they make the decision based on the circumstances and the intention of the person, and study the whole case, right? And make judgment based on each merit or cases. So the intention, if you were malicious and you did that directly, now I have the right to apply the policy, the contract, the law, etc. Even then, you have the right to decide to what degree or extent you're going to apply it. Most of the time, it's just the firing. You don't need to take people to court unless there is a massive data breach or something, right? It also depends. And the last one is, which I already mentioned, companies, you guys can just exclude yourself very easily by putting that our view is, or our employees' view are not representative of our views. We all have diverse opinion under DEI, and we respect that. And that's it. That's it, really. So it's a very, very difficult one. And I have a question. How do you deal with your HR people when it comes to social media use, LinkedIn people? Because I had an example of it today, who are actively ruining your company's reputation on LinkedIn. Do you apply this rule and policy on them? when they are posting job advertisement that are discriminatory, mentioning specifically these are the only nationalities we hire, age, whatever it is. Because now those are guys are falling under your policy of ruining the company's, of the brand's reputation. Do you look at your HR people who are so incompetent that actually are ruining your reputation? Do you apply these rules? I guess not. You are just really good at coming after your employees. Because if I'm the HR director and my employee HR clerk or whoever recruiter post whatever I saw today, that person would not be there tomorrow. That's what I have for today. LinkedIn, very difficult topic. Calling your marketing, calling your legal, HR, sit together. I'm not sure it comes under you, and figure it out. If you want more of these topics, anything related to corporations, from kindergarten, we went to designing employees' experiences. So this was just what not to do, because this is just the infantilization of adults, because we are not capable of handling adult behavior. So we put a cap on them and tell them what to do and what not to do, LinkedIn, to actually how to do it and how to design employees' experiences, from attracting talent, hiring, onboarding, motivating, not engagement, developing, performing, and exiting along the employee's journey. What to do each step. You have 365 solutions. Can you do them? Well, thank you for today. That's a big topic, and putting below in the comment, I will put the links for the books. Put below in the comment, what is your idea? What are your thoughts on it? What are the practices that you have in your organizations? Because this is literally the wild, wild west of the field of HR field. Nobody knows what we are doing. We're going from not doing anything to a complete ban, and there's nothing in between. So I agree on a certain guidance and regulation, because we are responsible adults. And one more thing is, I always remember this saying that your policies are the direct indicators of your employees, the quality of your employees. If you have poor quality employees who need to be told not to shit on the company online, you need to fire those people, right? And also, don't just blanket ban everybody. If Sylvia is stupid because she's posting crap about the company, Sylvia, come here, let me deal with you. We don't need to ban the other 1,000 employees who know how to use the social media responsibly. Why are you doing this? Now I think that's a good closing line. Don't punish everybody because there is always one silly. Don't do it. Grab that one silly, get it out, or just have a conversation. Sometimes people don't mean it. They just don't know. Nobody ever talked to them about it, right? So have the conversation. What are the guidelines? And let it be, and deal with each case on its own. Don't apply a blanket rule in anything in HR. If you're a good HR person, you don't do that. Well, see you next time.